So everyone, welcome to Central Coast Childbirth Network collaboration with the SLO Birth and Doula Collective, the SLO Doula Connection, and the Santa Maria Valley Doula Collective. Super excited. We have 3 of our board members here, and we have a community and a room full of passionate doulas who we're all meeting on here virtually to continue to give that support to parents and families and professionals in the community to let everyone know all about doulas, the benefits, the types of doulas, the cost of doulas, and especially now with limited support in a hospital, a lot of doulas have gone virtual. And so what does that mean? What does that look like? And so we will have doulas speak about that. And then we will also have each doula introduce themselves professionally. And we'll be talking about, and this is kind of like Central Coast Childbirth Network was collaborating with doulas in the community to do Meet-The-Doula events. We hosted 2 and we had to cancel our last event in March. And so this is another way to do the Meet-The-Doula, where you get to learn about what doulas do, and then you get to meet each doula individually and kind of like the first date and learn more. And so we would like to bring this to our community. So thank you to all of the doulas who are here and taking the time to help inform, educate, and advocate for our community and for the families. This is recorded, and this will be on our website and available for anybody to share. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and I will be able to get to that. And we are going to start with what a doula is. And so we will hear from Jennifer Kinnear. Go ahead, Jennifer. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Sabrina. So a doula, the word is actually a Greek word that means a servant. And I think that's a great way to describe doula is a servant to the birthing family. So we support physically, mentally, emotionally, and just a myriad of resources. So that in a nutshell is what a doula is.
Great. Thank you. Alexandra, a lot of people kind of get confused on what a doula does and doesn't do. So do you want to further explain what doulas do not do?
Yeah, so like Jennifer said, the doula is there to serve the birthing family. So we are not medical professionals, and we are not psychologists or mental health professionals. So we're not going to be, giving any advice on those platforms. We would not be doing any heart fetal monitor tones, any blood pressure, cervix checks, things like that. And we would not contradict the caregiver's advice or their medical recommendations.
Great. Thank you. And then there are different types of doulas. So a lot of people just usually think of doulas just in labor, but there's so much more to that. So Brittany, do you mind expanding on the different types of doulas?
Sure. So I think the most well-known type of doula is the birth or labor doula. That is somebody who works with you prenatally and does a lot of education before you have your baby, helps you create a birth preference or a birth plan, and then attends your labor with you for the entire amount of your labor. And then they check in with you and typically have a couple of postpartum visits. There's also postpartum doulas who may meet with you a couple of times prenatally before you have the baby to make a plan for postpartum, but their main goal and service is to provide support for you and your new family after you bring a baby home. So helping that transition from being pregnant and being in the hospital after having a baby and then coming home and kind of going, what the heck, I now have a new baby and I don't know what to do. So it's really helping that family come together and figure out their baby and a new way of living and support that growth. And there's also antepartum doulas. Antepartum doulas are doulas for during your pregnancy. Sometimes people have to go on bed rest or they have other conditions where they need some help during their pregnancy, and they can hire antepartum doulas. And then last but not least, there is something called a bereavement doula. And those are doulas who are specially trained in pregnancy loss and neonatal and infant loss, and they are there to support you during that transition. And that can be anywhere from ectopics, miscarriages, and all the way up to NICU stays and neonatal death.
Great. Thank you very much. And there's a lot of different types of doulas. Well, all of you are different types of doulas. And so that'll be really great to hear the different types of doulas that you are as well. We've talked about what a doula is, what doulas do not do, and the different types of doulas. So let's talk about what are all the good things about doulas. So Tawny, if you don't mind sharing with us the benefits of doulas.
Sure. Can you hear me first?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
cool. So doulas offer, like, benefits of doulas. There's lots of different benefits, so it's a big umbrella, but some of the main ones is that we're giving that emotional, consistent support to the mother and their family. So we're just someone who's there to call on and be an advocate and give education and give our attention fully to. It also, studies are showing that having a doula can lower labor, amount of time in labor, also satisfaction in labor, feeling more that the mother has had, a satisfying experience, giving her empowering choices. Doulas can benefit postpartum, getting the care you need, can benefit breastfeeding, having a little bit more success. Some studies show with breastfeeding and recovering and healing emotionally, physically. What else? Anxiety. We can really help support calming any anxiety that the mother might have, fear, birthing. Who doesn't have that? And can support outcomes, less medical interventions, maybe more bonding with baby, just being that support. So there's lots of benefits. I think it does depend on each case a little bit more what they benefit from mostly. But we are very helpful. That's what we do.
I would agree. And just such an integral part of the birth team for anybody who would want a doula and working together with the parents' birth team. And so some of the concerns that I've heard is the cost of doulas. Kayla, if you wouldn't mind talking about the different costs, that would be helpful.
Yeah, so for cost of doulas in each area, it's going to be different, but our area, the 5 cities in SLO and Santa Barbara County, you're looking from around $500 to about $1,500 with the price of doulas. Why there is such a great range is because there are some doulas who are in training, and what that means is they've already taken their certification, or not their certification, sorry, their class, where you learn what a doula does and how to help support the families. But to get completely certified, you need to attend 3 births. So some doulas will charge a lower fee for those first 3 births. So that's what you're doing when you're getting a lower priced doula. So that can be really beneficial for not only them, but also for families who need and want the support, but can't necessarily afford the $1,500. You also have doulas in the area who offer other specialties such as childbirth ed, postpartum and pregnancy exercise, and physical therapy and placenta encapsulation. So there are packages that can get up to the 2,000 area, but that doesn't necessarily only include doula services. It includes the other things that the doula is offering. But in our area, that's pretty typical, 500 to about 1,500.
Yeah. And have you guys seen where, like, if anyone has a health spending account, have you seen people use doula services on the health spending account?
Yeah, so you can use your health spending account. The only stipulation with that is obviously a doula needs to have a card reader or some sort of process to take cards. And the families also need a receipt to be able to show their insurance just in case there are questions asked. So you need to be able to give the families a receipt. So personally, I have that set up. If families want to pay with their HSA, then they just need to check with the doula that they would like to hire and make sure that they have that set up.
With that too, you can also pay with an FSA. So if it's not an actual health savings account, the flexible spending accounts, which are a Section 125 plan not tied to the medical insurance plan, that can be used too. That's actually how I paid for my doula services. And so there's a little bit more leniency on that. It doesn't have to, there's not as much red tape, I guess, to get that processed. But that's another way that families can use those pre-tax dollars.
Yeah, I always like to suggest that if a doula is really, really important for a baby shower, maybe you're asking for funding for some doula support a little bit. I don't know if anybody else has any ideas to help with costs.
You can also set up a monthly payment plan with your doula,
Good idea.
which is a great idea. Typically, a doula will take some sort of deposit to make sure that that date is held for you, and then come up with some sort of payment plan, whether that be bi-weekly or monthly. And then typically the doula wants the services to be paid for by the 38th week of pregnancy. That way you're full term, ready to go, all your services are paid for, and you don't have to worry about it later.
Great. Thank you so much. And then I think one of the biggest topics is virtual doula services. So, we've heard what doulas do, and a big part of that is the physical and emotional part. And for the physical part, how do you do what you do without being there? So Ashley, can you expand on what virtual services are looking like for parents and doulas?
Sure, yeah. So, virtual services might look different for each partnership, but typically what is included in those virtual services is lots of extra text and phone and possibly email time, FaceTime during prenatals or Zoom calls or whatever other video conferencing platforms you have available to yourself. And then when it comes to labor, typically, you would hop on FaceTime or do Zoom while at the hospital, and, you would just set that area up. So making sure that you have, a power cord that's long enough to reach from the outlet to your phone so that you can make sure that it's charged. Doulas will keep their phone on their charger, keep it charged up, ready, waiting for that phone call. It could be just a phone call or a series of text messages during labor, and then video conferencing during the birth, or it could be a combination of phone call, text, and video conferencing. And then, once baby comes and you're home, you can continue that video conferencing with, again, or FaceTime, lots of extra phone calls, text messages, and email correspondence as well. And so, the physical part is removed, obviously, but the virtual services are able to bridge that gap so that the support isn't sacrificed. We're still able to be there for you. You're still able to be supported, get advice, information, encouragement, all that, and still have a little bit of face-to-face time too, even though we're in our home and you're in the hospital. So it works out pretty well given the circumstances that, especially that we're in right now. So it's been interesting to navigate, but I've had lots of very successful virtual prenatal and postpartum visits with clients, and have been able to support someone virtually while in the hospital. And, they feel pretty resolved with the situation that we have, being able to have those virtual services available to them.
Great, thank you. And how is everybody here offering virtual services? You can put your hand up if you want. Yeah, okay. Yay! Good. That'll be, so thank you so much for doing that. And just, we're here for you, and the doulas are here for you. And so that's just amazing to see the support continue. So thank you. Those were the main questions that were being asked, and some other questions that are the common questions that parents and families might have. If you haven't had a chance to speak, we can answer some of these to go over quickly. But some of the common questions that I hear is, do I need a doula if I'm having an epidural? So is there anyone that would like to answer that?
Well, I can answer that. I'm sorry you can't see me, but you can hear me. My name's Teresa, and Yeah, so you want me to go ahead and answer that?
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so with an epidural, you're not going to get that at the beginning of your labor, and most women are not even going to get that until, it gets really hard. A doula is going to be supporting you prenatally, plus those early hours of labor, all that. When do you need to go to the hospital? They're going to be walking through the whole birth and pregnancy experience with you. It is not just at the hospital at the very end of your labor. So that's just one small part of your labor.
Definitely. Great point. And anything else anybody would like to add? Go ahead, Jennifer.
I would love to quote Terry Wood said a long time ago that a doula can also help you have the best epidural possible. So if you get to that point and you feel like you need an epidural, then a doula can also assist in continued movement, that's going to benefit the baby and the position of the baby, also help make you as comfortable as possible in that. Addressing things kind of as it comes along, because some people have side effects to epidurals and things that have to be attended to that are, just epidural specific, not really labor specific. So I think that's another thing, is that we try to help that epidural be the best epidural possible and to serve you and your labor really well.
Yeah, I agree. All good points. And the same can kind of go for, do I need a doula if I'm having a cesarean? Is there anyone who'd like to answer that? Go ahead, Cynthia.
So I think the beauty of a doula for a cesarean is that the doula will get to know the parents to be prior to the C-section. So kind of building that relationship a little bit and spending some time talking about what can be expected in most cases. We know that not every case is exactly the same, but giving some tips and information about what you can expect leading up to it, and then what to expect afterwards in the recovery. Some doulas are able to support during the C-section. It's really up to the preference of the birthing person, also the policies within the hospital and the anesthesiologist, but it is an option that parents can explore with the doula if that's something that they would like. The doula will remain often in the hospital, either in the room during the C-section, if that's a possibility, or waiting for the procedure to be done and baby's here and everyone's happy, and doula can then step in and help with some of the recovery and help with some of the initial breastfeeding and skin to skin, and stay present until everybody's back in the room and recovering and settled in and feeling like they're ready to just spend some time getting to know each other, a family of three at that point.
Does anybody have anything to add? Go ahead, Ashley. Ashley, go ahead.
Okay, so the technical side of how you how us as a doula can support a birthing person who is going in for a cesarean, whether it's a repeat cesarean or it's their first time. All of that technical stuff is amazing and it's great. But coming to the decision to have a cesarean, or if it's something that comes up later on in pregnancy, maybe because of placenta previa, or if there's some other underlying condition, sometimes twin births require C-sections, but that decision has to be made later. It can be an emotional load for the birthing person, for the family. And especially if it's not anything that you have ever done before or have ever planned for, there's a special kind of emotional care and support that goes into supporting someone who is going to have a cesarean. I myself had 3, and it would have been amazing to have a doula there to support me, even though I had been through a couple already. It just, is really important to reassure the birthing person that, your body is amazing. This does not mean that it's not birth. I mean, there are lots of affirmations that can be offered to someone who is going in for a surgical birth. And it's really important you know, your partner is there, your family is there to help support you as well, but there's just a little bit different kind of level of care that goes into supporting someone who is going in for a cesarean, and a lot of it has to do with emotional and mental support too.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I saw your hand up earlier, Jennifer. Did you want to add to that? Or
Yeah, I think I'll just kind of tag on to what Ashley's saying. I think I also had a cesarean, and I feel like my doula was priceless in that situation, because sometimes it's not planned, right? And you're all of a sudden having to switch gears at the last minute and try to figure out what of your choices you can still implement. And so I think that's also what a doula can do, is to help you not just check your choices at the door, check the birthing person's choices at the door, but to think about what can actually be incorporated in the operating room that also helps it feel personal and warm and like a birth, not a surgery. And so I think that's another thing that doulas can also help with, is helping that be a birthing environment and to make that transition if it's not a planned one. And if it's a planned one, then you have a lot more time to work with your doula to think about what you would want to have in there that would make it feel not sterile for you, you know, as the birthing person. How do you incorporate your family into that? So I think they can help with a lot of those logistical things.
yeah, definitely. And I think that one of the big terms is family-centered cesarean, and speaking up and letting people know their options of a clear drape, and advocating for the skin-to-skin, or maybe even turning into the photographer as well for families. So a huge role, I definitely believe, for cesarean birth as well. And then another common question is, do I need a doula if I'm having a home birth? So that's something we haven't really talked about, but usually home births are attended by midwives, and there is a lot of time and attention and dedication with families in the home birth role. So would anybody like to talk about doulas and home births and what that role looks like?
So there is no wrong place for doula support. It does not matter where you're having your baby, in your home, in a birthing center, the hospital, the forest, surrounded by animals and butterflies, in your car on the way to the hospital. Doula support is imperative if that is the right fit for your family, no matter the location. And in some cases, a doula is even more beneficial in the home, if, especially now with lots of birthing people and families in this pandemic who have been planning their entire pregnancy to birth in a hospital, have now decided to switch to a home birth. And like Jennifer had said, like that, you're switching gears. Like you've been planning this whole time to deliver at a hospital, and now you're delivering at home, and you're finding that you just have no idea what that looks like and what you can envision that to be. And hiring someone to support you during that time, that transition, and switching those gears and then planning your home birth can be really imperative. Doula support at home is very different than hospital support. You know, the doula it's more of a kind of like a step back and you know, kind of be in the corner, quiet, you know, minimal intervening, very, very little conversation being made. And doulas usually step in if, you know, maybe position needs to be changed, if labor is stalling, or, you know, maybe dad looks really exhausted and has been up the whole time and needs to be reminded to, you know, go lay down, go rest, drink some water, you know, help fill up the tub, help get mom in the tub, help, you know, sit with other siblings that are in the home and entertain them and be with them and comfort them and encourage them. So, you know, the whole environment with a home birth is completely different from the hospital. But, you know, as personal of a space as it is, planned or not planned and then having to switch to, it doesn't mean that you don't still need to be supported. If you find that you're needing that extra support beyond your family and your partner that is going to be with you. So it's, you know, like I said in the beginning, there's no wrong place for you to have doula support at all. And home birth is an excellent place to be able to have that doula support.
Great point, Ashley. Does anybody else want to add something? Go ahead, Paige.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think sometimes with planned home births, especially, sometimes people think that because they have a home birth midwife and maybe their student there, that will be enough of a bolster and a support for them during their labor and their birth. And just to echo what Ashley just said, to have a doula in the home as well, I think like alleviates some of the slack that home birth midwives end up picking up if their client doesn't have a doula. And there's so much going on during a home birth, and it can be really helpful to have that extra pair of hands, and just to sort of reiterate the role of a doula, not as a medical professional, but as a support person, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I just wanted to make that point about the differentiation between a doula and a midwife, especially in the home birth context.
Definitely. And so one of the last questions is, we've talked about what a doula does, what a doula does not do, the different types of doulas, all the benefits, and how beneficial and helpful they are. So where does this leave a partner or support person? So is the doula's role to take over the partner or support person's role? So if anybody would like to expand on that.
I can. Oh,
Yeah, I can say something if you'd like.
Yeah, Teresa.
Again, sorry you can't see me. You're just hearing me. But I like to, you know, I'm not just a doula for the birthing mother. I'm a doula for everyone that's in that room. You know, my role may be to work with your mom that's over there, you know, panicking because she thinks something's wrong. I'm going to pull your husband in, or the partner, and make them a part of the birth and show them the things that they can do, you know, with you to support you. So, and you can't have too much support with in a birth. So that's, you know, I'm there for the whole family. I'm not just there for the birthing person.
Great, thank you. Alexandra, do you want to add to that? And then Jennifer.
I think one of the best metaphors that kind of helps me understand the doula's role in this relationship is if my husband and I are going on a trip that we've never been on before, and we want to see this epic view, we can pay for the flights, we can show up, we can do some early research, but we're not going to have as full of an experience without a guide or without someone showing us all the steps or all the things that we can see. So I think as a doula, we're there to help show the spouse or the the other support person, whether it's mom, sister, cousin, whomever. We're there to help show them the best avenues possible for that situation.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
The other thing I think a doula can do is that I think a lot of times partners can just kind of end up feeling lost. And so helping a doula can actually help the partner and the birthing person actually birth their baby together. And I think that is one of the best ways that doulas serve, is that of it just being the birthing person having this baby, it's actually the birthing person and the partner birthing together. and the doula actually showing the partner how they can be involved instead of feeling lost.
Anybody is here that is a parent or professional and you have any questions, this would be a good time to let me know in the chat box. Otherwise, I am going to, in no random order, except because I think we are pretty good on time, I'm just going to go in my gallery view from how I see you guys from top to bottom, zigzag. But I did want to say that I totally did not introduce myself or Central Coast Childbirth Network or the businesses that we have collaborated with today. So I would like to start by doing that. My name is Sabrina Cox, and I am the president of Central Coast Childbirth Network. I'm also, I've been a labor and delivery nurse for the last 11 years. I'm a certified doula with CAPA, and I am Lamaze certified childbirth educator. For the last year, we have 3 other board members here, Alexandra, Brittany, and Michaela. For the last year in our community, we have been building a nonprofit, and currently we are waiting for our 501c3 status, but have incorporated. And our mission is really to do exactly what we're doing now, and that is to build a diverse network of birth professionals to help inform, educate, and advocate for families on the Central Coast. And to do that through events like this. We had an expo in March, and we would like to start getting doula programs going, whether offering scholarships for doulas out in the community or for families. So there is a lot of exciting things happening. And the biggest thing as well is our website. And that's kind of the biggest resource right now. And building that resource guide, highlighting our members and professionals who believe in our mission, our vision, and support rights for childbearing families. And we want to bring that professional development into our community as well. With that being said, I would like to go ahead and introduce SLO Doula Connection. And then if someone wanted to speak about the SLO Birth and Doula Collective, and then the Santa Maria Valley Doula Collective as well, just introduce your business, and then go ahead and introduce everyone individually. Thank you.
Sabrina, do you want me to do that, or anybody from SLO Doula?
Yeah, well, probably you. Go ahead.
SLO Doula Connection is a group, a network of doulas that has existed since 2014 and was started by a doula that had been in our community for a long time, Terry Woods. And it was started really to help doulas to work together, but also to continue growing and being trained, getting educated, more professional development as they were growing as doulas. And then also to really help educate the community to know what doulas can offer, and kind of like what we talked at the beginning, what different doulas, what they charge when they first start out, when they're getting trained, how they get trained and certified, that sort of thing. So to provide that kind of educational piece. So that's what the SLO Doula Connection, we are just love working together, backing each other up. People have experimented with partnering together and being on call together. So it's a really just a group of only doulas. We don't have, we work with a lot of chiropractors and other birth professionals, but we are just birth and postpartum doulas.
Great, thank you. And then Brittany or Michaela.
So I'm Brittany, and Michaela is my business partner, and we own the SLO Birth and Doula Collective. We're pretty new. We've only been around for about 6 weeks. But really, Michaela and I saw a need for some mentorship of some of the newer doulas that were coming into the area. Both Michaela and I had been contacted a lot over the last couple of months asking about mentorship and business help. And we saw that, we both felt that we wanted to give back to the community in that way and also serve families. So what the SLO Birth and Doula Collective is we are essentially an agency where families can come and we help match them with doulas, birth doulas, postpartum doulas, or childcare providers, nannies, babysitters, that kind of a thing, because we saw a need with families that we have served as that's the next step of what's needed. And a lot of our families that we've worked with found it extremely hard to find good childcare after getting, having their baby, going through their postpartum period, and then being faced with returning to work. So Michaela and I decided to come together and create one place that families could come to where they could really find support through prenatal, pregnancy, labor, birth, and postpartum, and up into the first couple of years of parenthood. So.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm muting myself again. Alexandra, do you want to introduce the Santa Maria Valley Doula Collective?
Thank you. So I am Alexandra Klein, and I'm the founder of the Santa Maria Valley Doula Collective, as well as Mama Fit Santa Maria. So my focus is on connecting the doulas that service Santa Maria area. When I was pregnant with my last child in the last year, I used SLO Doula Connection to find my doula, and was a little frazzled that there wasn't something for our big body of Santa Maria itself. So my focus has been on connecting all of the doulas that service Santa Maria and giving families in Santa Maria, Orcutt, Napomo areas one resource where they can go to connect with a whole host of doulas to find the right fit for them. So right now we have tried, and I messed up a little bit on our Zoom attempt, but we are trying to get more connected within, each other's community spaces and any advice that we can take from one another. And then also just really trying to get more information out to our Santa Maria families.
Great. Yeah, definitely. And which is why with Central Coast Childbirth Network, trying to, as a nurse in Santa Maria, and then being in the South County, I feel like our families can really go either way for services and providing, and that doula, just talking about doulas, where they service families is that wide range. And so really bridging that gap with our professionals in SLO County and Santa Maria, and trying to do the work together. And so I really appreciate all of you for being here, and for the businesses that you have, and your expertise and your knowledge and skills to really help our families. So with that being said, I do just want to say one disclosure that for the Zoom call, we are not giving any medical advice. This has already been just informational. So always encourage you to speak to your provider or your midwife, or whoever your provider is going to be as well. So thank you. And then I will go ahead and introduce Cynthia McDuff, and go ahead and just speak a little bit about yourself, your certifications, and what you're passionate about in your doula services.
Great, thank you. So yes, my name is Cynthia McDuff, and I am a DONA trained birth doula. I actually live in Lompoc, so I am the farthest south, I believe. And when I first started looking at doula work, I was also looking to see, who is in my area as far as other doulas. And, this far down south, there aren't as many. I'm in this odd little part of the county. If you go farther south to Santa Barbara, there's many wonderful doulas. And so I'm so excited to be on this Zoom call with so many doulas serving this area. So I just do highlight that my geographic location is a little bit different than almost everyone else on the call, but I think that's a strength, because if someone is farther north than I am, then I know there's a lot of wonderful people I can turn to. And also if there's someone a little bit south, that might just be me. But I came into came into doula work just because I've had this passion for all things birth. And I have had a passion for women supporting each other through some of the most amazing times in a person's life. So my philosophy for being a birth doula is really just reminding the birthing person that inherent in all of us is an incredible amount of strength and confidence that we all have there. And sometimes that gets eroded, or we haven't had a chance to really dig through that. And my hope is that I can remind the birthing person that you're strong, you're confident, we can do this in the way that you envision, and let it be an opportunity for just feeling really some joy and some pride through this experience. So that's what I hope to have clients walk away with after working with me, is just a feeling of strength and empowerment that they've achieve something wonderful and glorious.
Thank you, Cynthia. And go ahead, Jennifer.
And I'm Jennifer Kinnear. I have been a doula since 2012. And I would say one of my just passion areas is I am a DONA certified doula, but also a Bradley instructor for childbirth education. And the real heart of Bradley education is helping a partner and the birthing person work together to birth. And so that's something that I love. I absolutely love it. And I love seeing a partner come alive as they're supporting and being involved birthing process of their child. And so that's something that is really at the heart of my work as a doula and also as a childbirth educator.
Go ahead, Ashley. Thank you, Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Ashley Doust of Birth Within Doula, and I am a childbirth international trained and certified labor and birth doula, as well as a trained and certified VBAC doula through the VBAC link. Also currently going through Stillbirth Day to become a certified bereavement doula. And yeah, my passion for birth work started over 18 years ago when I had my first baby. And it was kind of a interesting experience for me that left me feeling like I just needed to go out there and just help women. I dove into researching about birth, and at that time, as you know, computers weren't really, available to everybody. So it was a lot of, resources at the library that I had to tap into. And when I became pregnant with my second child 10 years later, I knew that I wanted to be someone for myself who just really empowered me to be able to birth the way that I wanted to. My outcomes didn't turn out with my first, second, or third the way that I had hoped they would be. So after I got pregnant with my last, I really tapped into hiring a doula for myself. And that is really where the inspiration came from to finally get my certification done. Every single time I went to get my certification, I ended up pregnant and was unable to finish getting my certification. So after my last, I just really dug my heels deep into birth work and got certified, and have really been enjoying being a part of this birthing community. We have great midwives, doulas, lots of different birth workers, and birth professionals here on the Central Coast that I feel honored to work alongside. And yeah, it's a passion of mine to be able to hold a space for my clients so that they feel empowered to be able to have the birth experience that's satisfactory to them, that they envision, that they have always hoped and dreamed for. And yeah, it's just a huge passion of mine that I plan to take really. So
Thank you for sharing, Ashley. I believe Tawny is next.
Hi everyone, hi doulas and expecting mamas and families. My name is Tawny Starius and I live here in San Luis Obispo. And I have been a doula for around 5 years. I've been a yoga teacher for 15. And that is kind of how I entered the doula world, was teaching a lot of prenatal yoga and feeling like that was really supporting my students and them saying, hey, have you ever thought about being a doula? I feel so confident and more comfortable in my body and in my energy when I'm practicing yoga and focus, and I would love for you to be there. And I didn't know what a doula was, so I looked it up. And after a few different students had said, hey, I'd like you to be my doula, I finally said, okay, I'll look into this. So I luckily got to have one of the last trainings with Terry Woods, a longtime doula in SLO County, who started the SLO Doula Connection. And it just has gone lovely from there. I had a wonderful home birth and myself, and felt like I had the support. I didn't have a doula, but I had midwives that really gave me that support. So that meant so much to me personally. And I just feel like I'm here giving back and giving that support that I knew I needed and still need and women need. And I love this so much. So I'm certified Kappa doula and postpartum doula, as well as a certified yoga teacher. And I lead women's retreats and women's circles. So love women, love supporting, getting us what we need to be well and start families and change the world.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Tani. It's so great to hear all the different areas that you guys are specializing in. And again, the reason why we're doing it is all of these expertise and knowledge that you have, letting the community and families know about it. So again, thank you. I did have Alexandra Klein going, but I'm going to go ahead and have Teresa on. And then Alexandra, I'll have you next. Go ahead, Teresa.
Oh, okay, thank you. So my name is Teresa Gibson. I have been a doula for over 10 years. I'm Kappa certified, both birth and postpartum. I've had training in hypnobabies, hypnobirthing, acupressure, just over the time taken tons of different classes to help my clients with their birth. I've attended probably over 100 births. My main thing that I guess I'm a little different is I'm also a spinning babies parent educator. So what I really try to do, and I'm going to be doing private and group classes once all of this is over with the coronavirus, but what spinning babies is it's about making more room in the pelvis, trying to help baby get into a good position so that, it's going to cut down on C-sections. It's going to make your labor a lot more comfortable, shorter. I teach you just how to be pregnant, how to rest smart, how to sit smart, how to, ride in a car, to where your whole goal is to keep everything open. And so, yeah, that's really my passion. I've been to plenty of different births, home births, C-section births, hospital births. And there is not any births that are the same. And that's the reason you can go to all the classes that you want, but having a doula there with you, more than likely she's seen a lot of this. And so she can help you in so many different ways. And that's what I'm here to do. Oh, I'm in the San Luis Obispo area, but I will travel.
Great. Thank you, Teresa, for sharing. And Spinning Babies is amazing. Brittany had worked with somebody to come host that event. And so a lot of people were able to get that opportunity to have Spinning Baby certification. So a great tool, doulas and birth professionals to have.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you. So Alexandra, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So like I said earlier, my name is Alexandra Klein, and I am the founder of Mama Fit Santa Maria. And that started out my passion for my, I like to call it my birth nerd process. So it's about 8 years ago, I started in the area as a fitness and CrossFit coach. When I got pregnant with my first daughter, I began to train with BirthFit. BirthFit then focuses on fitness, nutrition, mindset, and chiropractic care alongside connection. So that started a process for me where I wanted to get more resources within the Santa Maria Valley. From there, that's how Mama Fit Santa Maria was established. I had one child with a vaginal delivery in the hospital. My second child was a cesarean, and my birth nerd process went on a high when I got pregnant with my third and decided I would be doing a home birth VBAC with some of our local midwives. And so through that process, I really started to find, other resources that would help me have the birth of my dreams. I did that. The only word I used to describe my last birth was epic. It was absolutely epic. And so my goal as a doula is now to educate and empower families so that they can have an epic experience themselves. Understanding the epic or amazing or whatever word might work best for a family is going to vary from family to family, birth to birth. So really just helping educate and empower families to have the birth of their dreams. I'm currently in training with International Doula Institute, and once I finish up, I will have finished my birth doula, my postpartum doula, childbirth education, and a breastfeeding doula class as well.
Great. Thank you, Alexandra, for sharing, serving the Santa Maria area. Next will be Brittany.
Hello, I am Brittany Randolph, owner of Beyond the Bump. I have been a birth doula for almost 8 years. I started out 18 years ago as a personal trainer, and I immediately began working with pregnant and postpartum women. This is kind of before people thought that pregnant and postpartum women could even continue to work out, and there was all these crazy guidelines that you had to follow. And that kind of paved the way for me into work. I am a trained and certified DONA and CAPA birth doula. I am a trained and certified bereavement doula with Stillbirth Day. And my goal really is to do a lot of education beforehand, so that way families that I work with are knowledgeable and feel empowered and comfortable going into the birthing process, understanding what's happening, and really learn how to advocate for themselves, what questions to ask, when they should speak up when they're not comfortable, and really feel confident going into their birth. And the same thing for partners. My goal is to get partners as involved as possible and them feel as comfortable through the whole process as they can be, because I know it can be intimidating and scary if you've never had a baby before. And so that's my goal. I work with a lot of my families, even into the postpartum stage. I do, as a personal trainer, I do lots of prenatal training with my clients, but I also do lots of core and pelvic floor rehab to get women to feel comfortable knowing what is not normal in the postpartum period and what they can work on and how they can safely recover their core and pelvic floor.
Great, thank you. And then Brittany is also our vice president of CCCN and was a previous board member at the Monterey Birth Network as well. So just highlighting that and that invaluable information, knowledge that you have to bring to the community. So thank you very much.
Hi. I'm Paige. I'm the face behind womb-to-womb doula services, and I've been attending births since 2014. I started my birth work on the Central Coast, and then I got certified as a labor, home birth, and postpartum doula by Cornerstone Doula Trainings up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I did the bulk of my birth doula experience mostly with a pro bono doula organization up there that served low-income Latinx mothers and birthing people. I moved back to the Central Coast to become a nurse, and I'm currently in nursing school and offering postpartum doula services here. And the center of my work and why I'm really passionate about birth work is because I feel like supporting and nourishing and centering mothers and birthing people has a really deep impact on the adults that we raise into society and community. And I love the reconnection and like the opportunity for healing and transformation that happens when people are pregnant and during birth and in the postpartum. Though I'm also a lactation educator certified through UC San Diego. And yeah, there's lots more to share, but that's what I have for now. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that insight. It's definitely true. I remember learning early on in the doula certification is just that the birth experience is this one time that affects somebody it's an experience that they remember for the rest of their life. And so holding this space and the impact that comes from what's going on during that time and during somebody's birth experience, or even however you become a parent, whether it's, you're having infertility or surrogacy, adoption, fostering. I always like to say, like, a parent is a parent and you need support. And so definitely touching upon what you had said, that it is a very impactful experience in time for parents and the effects that doulas can have. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Michaela, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Michaela Rodriguez. I am a certified birth doula, childbirth educator, and placenta encapsulator. I'm also on the board of directors for CCCN, great organization. And I'm also the co-owner of SLO Birth and Doula Collective. Right now I'm in AG, but I'm actually moving to Napoleon in the next couple weeks. So I service both SLO County and Santa Barbara County. My doula business is called the Sunshine Doula. So I started my career as a doula over in Buffalo, New York. And so I was just really excited and grateful to be able to learn from the huge birth network that's over there. And I like to say that I'm a doula who used a doula for my son. I had a doula because I just know how important it is to not only have the support for myself, but also for my husband, being a first-time dad. And even though he is in the medical field, the emotional support is just completely different during birth than the medicalized knowledge that he has. So it was just so nice to be able to have a doula and have him feel supported and be supported. So that's what I do.
Great. Thank you so much. And all the way from Buffalo, New York, Michaela had helped with our website design. So she's tech savvy as well. Thank you. And Teresa was the last one. Did everybody talk? Yay. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. And we had, if you have any questions, I haven't seen any questions in the chat box. Again, this will be available for parents and families. So doulas, if you're on here, please email hello@centralcoastchildbirthnetwork.com, and we're going to make a list of all the doulas with your information, your email address, website, and this will be available for families to get. So again, thank you so much, and we look forward to hosting many more events like this and really coming together and connecting. So thank you again for your time, to our doulas and to our parents and families and professionals viewing this video. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you.